We're going to start spooling up the rod with a mustad wish braid. I'm using 80-pound mustad wish braid right now. It's a real good line. You can buy it from 10-pound up to 80-pound. It's real good stuff. We're going to spool that. This is a Kuma bait runner reel. It's a CD80 reel. It's a big reel. Holds a lot of line. That's pretty important what we do. That bait runner feature right there lets the line come off freely. When you turn the handle, it automatically picks it up, so then the line can't come off. So what we're going to do, we're going to put a stop knot on this line. And what that does is keep that float from going any further up the line. And all we do is just make a uni knot around the line, tie it about 4 times. And you use a piece of the same braid that you're using for the deal. And you leave that right there long until you get ready to set your depth on your float. Then what we're going to do is slide 1 bead up the line. First, we've got to find one big enough to go on there. That's always fun. Slide a bead up there, and that keeps that float from going past that stop knot. You can use a variety of floats, doesn't really matter as long as they're kind of aerodynamic. There we go. Now we're going to put another bead below this. And what that keeps it from doing is hitting the swivel and deforming your float. So you're actually going to have 2 swivels, 2 beads. Now we're going to take a mustad chain swivel. That's a 3/0 swivel, a really strong swivel. We're going to tie it on with a uni knot also. And we're not using any weight on this unless you've got current. If you've got strong current, then we'll put a small weight on there to kind of keep the bait up. And then what I do is take about a 30-inch piece of this American fishing wire surf strand, cut that off. Take one of these sleeves, pop it on there. And what I'm doing with that, I'm going in that sleeve, and then I'm crimping that and going back in the sleeve again. And then I tighten that up. And I'll crimp that 2 or 3 times. And then, other end, we got another crimp. We're using a Mustad 3551 bronze treble hook and a 3/0. Just a real small hook. I mean, this hook, I've caught 300-pound fish with it. It's not a problem. They're real strong hooks and real sharp. And this hook also, if you let that fish swallow the hook, you won't have to worry about that fish getting rid of the hook, because that bronze hook will go away in the water, whereas the stainless hook will never go away. And you crimp that one down a couple of times. And there's your basic rigging. You got the float that slides up the line. And what this float is for, we're going to set this float if the water is, say it's 12 to 14 foot deep, we'll set this float at 16 foot deep. And what that float is for us to follow that fish, because this fish is going to run sometimes 15-20 minutes, maybe a mile downriver from where he picks the bait up. And that way we can stay with the fish as he's running. If he goes under a tree or something, we can also, as he comes out the other side, we can cut the line, run, grab the float, tie it back together, and we can still catch the fish. We've had to do that 3 or 4 times on a big fish sometimes. And that's your basic rigging right there. That's all. You can slide this stop knot up and down that line as far as you want it, up and down, and that float will go right there and stop. And that bait, we'd use like a 1/2 pound piece of cut carp or shad or something like that. Hook it with one of the trebles, lay it on the bottom, and that fish will come along and pick it up.